So, as I was saying that we were discussing about the availability of the head. On this basis, as we said, that we have three different type of plants, which is called the low, medium, and high. We have three different types of plants: low, medium, and high. Low are below 30 meters. They are above 300 meters are known as high head plants, and below 30 meters are known as the low head plants, and between them are called the medium head plants, that is called 330 to 300 meters. So we can extend our discussion over here such that we can have a classification in between of the plants, which is called low, medium, and the high head plants. So normally in the terminology which is called as a surge tank is not used in the low head plants. No such tanks are not there. What is called a surge tank? Surge tank. I have a dam, behind that water is filled and it is coming through a penstock and the water is getting here. So before this, before the water is getting the entry into the station or my generating plant, actually there is a tank above it just before the intake. What is the use of this intake? What is the use of this surge tank? It is filled with water. See, during the load reduction period, when the load on the generator is suddenly thrown off, the load on the generator is suddenly decreases. It decreases the load and it decreases the requirement of the load on the turbine part. As we have seen that when there is a increase in the load, then it will be coming out from the mechanical part. We have seen that in electrical machines. So from that we can understand that when there is a load rejection period, the load rejection period the rejection will be actually reflecting into the mechanical part also, so that the turbine will try to close its gates. When the turbine will be trying to close its gates, then the water coming from here will be having a hard pressure and it will be pressing this penstock, and if this penstock is not able to withstand the pressure hammers of the water, then it will explode. Otherwise, for that there is a stand which is actually provided just before the intake of the turbine, such that during the load reduction it collects the water back and it fills in, so that there is a very less pressure on this penstock. There is a very much less pressure on this penstock during the load rejection period. During the when the load requirement is high, suddenly the load requirement is high and the penstock is not able to withstand that much of pressure and that much of water is not coming from the penstock. What happens? The turbine will try to move fast and it will expand its gate. So the water requirement of the turbine will be very much high at that time. So that water is now furnished from this surge tank. So surge tank works for both the purpose. Whenever there is a load rejection, then also it is taking its the extra water, and when there is a load increase in the load, then it is providing the water. But when we talk about the low plants, it doesn't require a surge tank because the four-way or the penstock is very much small, and the electricity generation is very much small. So normally the load increase in the load is not much, not very much affecting the turbine, and it is not affecting the actually the penstock. So normally in low plants, the penstock is not a conduit one; it's an open one normally. So normally such tanks are not used in low head plants. Here we'll be discussing that in a better way also, but for sake of understanding, we'll be using the types of turbine here. The types of turbine used normally here are called the Francis, Propeller and Kaplan. F stands for Francis, or I can write them. Francis, Propeller and Kaplan. These type of turbines are used in the low head plants, which are actually the reaction type of turbine. We'll see that, but we'll not discuss that here. We'll discuss them in a different manner. So, from just now we can understand that the Francis, Propeller and Kaplan type of turbine are used in low head plants. When coming to medium head plants, medium head plants have the four-way. What is four-way now? As we have seen there, there is a surge tank when required during the load reduction and load increase period, acceptance period. So rather than using this load reduction here, I can have an arrangement here also, that this is my dam, and before that this is my head. I have a tank over here. This is called a four-way, which is just before the intake of my penstock. This is all the intake before my turbine. So there is a difference between the surge tank and the four-way. They both are working for the same purpose. That during the addition of the water, they furnish the additional water when required, and they keep the water for when the load reduction is there. So these are actually working in the same way, but for medium plants, the surge tank will not be that much of means here the surge tank will not work properly, so that may be possible that the requirement of the water may be high. So rather than using surge tank, we will be using a four-way just before the intake, and intake of the penstock, that is important, and surge tank are normally used intake of the turbine. So both are working at the same way, four-way and the surge tank. Here for surge tank is used, and here the four-way is used. Coming to another part, which is called the high head plants. Here also three different type of Francis, Propeller and Kaplan type of turbines are used. Here, in coming to here, when here the surge tanks are required. Here the surge tanks are very much required. They can be in conjunction with the four-way also, and requirement according to the requirement they can have a four-way also plus surge tank. Here also according to the requirement we can have a four-way also plus surge tank, or the surge tank alone or the four-way alone. Here also the surge tank will be there, that is for sure, but four-way is there or not, that is dependent upon the type of the load, type of the fluctuation in the load. If there is no frequent fluctuation in the load and a very large fluctuation in the load, then such four-way will not be used. But when there is a very slightly change in the load condition, then the surge tank will be there. When there is a large fluctuation in the load, then the four-way will be used. So here the surge tanks are normally used, and in the surge tank we discussed the surge tank, what the surge tank is, and that is just before the turbine entrance. And when the plant is more than 300 meters, these are using actually the impulse type of turbine, which is called as a Pelton wheel. This is very important regarding objective type of question. This thing important, this thing important, this is also important, this is also important, this is also important, this is also important. So these 6-7 things which are written over here are very important regarding the objective type of question. But the Pelton wheel is used when it is more than 300 meters, and the Pelton wheel is a type of impulse turbine which we will be discussing in a short while. So the type of the turbine which is used here is Pelton wheel when the head of the is more than 300 meters, and below 300 meters we are always using Francis, Kepler and Kepler. That is to be remembered. That is very much essential over here. So coming to the terminology of the hydroelectric plants. Terminology of the hydroelectric plants. So we know what is reservoir. First, we know what is actually the reservoir. Reservoir is the storage of the water, where we will be storing our water. Second thing which will be coming is called the head. We have discussed the head also. We are discussing all this thing under the heading which is called the parts of hydropower plants. Or we can say the terminology of the hydroelectric plants. Apart from that, we have head. For head, we have the construction of the dam. Apart from that, one more thing comes. So pictorially I can have the dam. This is my dam, and this is the water available behind in the reservoir actually. In the reservoir, and this water will be actually coming out of this. Okay, and here one thing is required before the entry into the penstock is called the trash rack. Trash rack. If we have suppose this is my conduit or this is my penstock actually. So here at this point, so if I am able to see this inside the penstock from here, there is a steel wires or steel rash over here which is placed just before the enter in the penstock. This is a steel wire and this is my actual conduit or the penstock. So these steel wire are placed horizontally such that no extra, wastage, any polythene or kind of those which will be actually restricting the blockage, which will be actually blocking the turbine nozzles. So anything which is not required apart from water will not be able to pass this, and it will not be able to come into it. So this is actually a trash rack which is actually restricting the debris material to getting entry into the penstock. Trash rack is very important and they are used horizontally. Please remember that. So coming to another part which is called the four-way, which we have already discussed. So before the dam I can have a four-way here, and if water available over here is this much, I can have a four-way over here, and before that my water is there here, I can have a four-way here also, and of this I can have a four-way over here. This is the four-way of mine, Okay, we have discussed the surge tank also. Please remember the places which they are used. The 4 pay used just before the dam, and my surge tank will be somewhat near the station. It will be somewhat be here on the just before the station or my turbine. This is my turbine. This is my surge tank. So water is coming from here also, and here also, and here also. Water may be the requirement. So what is the use we have of the surge tank is we have already discussed that it controls the pressure variation of the water and the pressure variation of the penstoke. So what is penstoke? We have also seen that penstoke are of two types. One is the closed one, and another is the conduit type. So depending on the flow of the water, depending on the requirement of the flow of water, the penstokes are used. One more thing is very important in this. This is called as the spillway. Suppose here my maximum permissible limit of the water in the dam is this much. This is my maximum permissible limit. If during the rainy season I am collecting a lot of water, and if it crosses the maximum permissible limit of the water, what happens? If somewhat I am having this red area, which is the extra water which is coming into the dam, so my dam may not be able to withstand that much of pressure because the pressure head of the water is very much high, and apart from the maximum head, the dam is designed for the maximum head, and if the water is coming more than the maximum height, that may damage the dam, and by damaging it means that the dam may collapse, and if the dam collapses, the huge water will be flowing into approximately 100 kilometers or more than that, and that will be actually disturbing the living environment over there. So that is very much hazardous. So for that, one more arrangement is there, that when the water is more, there is a spillway before the intake of the water here, such that the extra water goes into the spillway, and it will be actually working as the safety valve for the dam. So actually spillway are the safety valves. They are actually working as a safety valve for the dams. So we should understand, we should remember spillway is just before the dam, not after the dam. It will not be of any use if it is after the dam. It is before the dam. It is actually passing the extra water which is coming into the dam and which is not required beyond the maximum permissible limit. Spillway are before the dams. Please remember that again. Last thing which is coming into the picture of this is seventh part is called the tail race. What is called tail race? The water which is coming out of the turbine and flowing into the stream towards the river is called the tail race. Means the water which is coming from here is called the tail race, and it's actually the waterway towards the river. Turbine to the river is called the waterway towards the river. That is called the tail race.